Ned Leeds, Spider-Man's guy in the chair, has a very big possibility of becoming one of his biggest enemies in future MCU movies. In Spider-Man No Way Home, we witnessed a scene where Toby Maguire Spider-Man shared with Ned about how his best friend Harry Osborne turned into a supervillain and tried to kill him. After hearing that, we saw Ned fearing whether he would also go down that path. Now, if you're into Marvel Comics, you'd understand that the conversation between Ned and Toby's Spider-Man was a potential tease towards the future possibilities with Ned Leeds in the MCU. In comics, Ned Leeds was a reporter for the Daily Bugle and not the best friend of Peter Parker. In fact, Ned and Peter had issues because of their similar love interest, Betty Brant. Later, Ned Leeds married Betty Brant and continued his journey as a reporter until one day, after a battle between Spider-Man and Hobgoblin, Ned saw the defeated Hobgoblin going back to his secret base. As a reporter, Ned followed Hobgoblin to his secret base and learned about his true identity, Roderick Kingsley. However, Kingsley soon realized the presence of Ned in the base and captured him. Instead of killing him, Kingsley decided to make Ned the third one to take the mantle of the Hobgoblin. Kingsley hypnotized Ned and made him believe that he is the real Hobgoblin. Then, Kingsley used Ned on multiple occasions, including helping Richard Fisk to overthrow his father, the Kingpin. While doing all the crimes, Ned, the Hobgoblin, and Spider-Man had a lot of confrontations that led to some intense battles. Kingsley's hypnotic sessions on Ned began to cause brain damage, and Ned started to lose his sanity. His relationships with the people in his life began to fall apart. Ned became violent and abusive with his wife Betty Brant, causing major marital problems between the two. With time, when things got too intense with the Kingpin Mafia War, Kingsley decided to retire the Hobgoblin identity and cut his losses. He also wanted to get rid of Ned since Ned was getting out of his hands, so Kingsley leaked the identity of Hobgoblin as Ned Leeds. Jason Macendale Jr., also known as Jack-o'-lantern, was an international mercenary who wanted to take the mantle of the Hobgoblin after knowing that Ned Leeds is the Hobgoblin. So he hired the Foreigner to identify and kill Ned Leeds. Soon after that, Ned and Peter went to Berlin for a job assignment, and there, Ned Leeds was hunted and murdered by the Foreigner and his assassin agents. The assassins left Ned's body behind for Peter Parker to find. After Jason Macendale's press conference, the whole world believed that Ned Leeds was the real Hobgoblin. Despite having marital issues with Ned, Betty was traumatized after the death of Ned and wanted to bring him justice. And that was only possible with the help of Spider-Man. Only they knew the truth. Then, years later, after the consistent efforts of Betty Brant and Spider-Man, when the truth came out about Roderick Kingsley being the original Hobgoblin and the one responsible for ruining Ned's life and for his death, Ned's image was restored as being a great person and the reporter that he once was. Now, coming back to the MCU, the character of Ned Leeds has been so much different from what it was in the comics, and there's only one character who's connected to Ned in the MCU. Also, Betty Brant, Ned's ex-girlfriend in the MCU. The possibility of Ned turning into a villain like Hobgoblin felt impossible after the first trilogy movie series of Tom Holland's Spider-Man. In Spider-Man Homecoming and Far From Home, we saw how Ned and Peter's friendship grew stronger. That carried on in Spider-Man No Way Home, where we could see how shocked Ned was after learning about other Spider-Man's best friends who turned into villains. Ned later promised Peter that he would never do that.
And I promise you, I won't turn into a supervillain and try to kill you.
With that scene, Marvel teased us about Ned's supervillain future, but we had no clue how it's going to happen. But later on, we got the answer to that, too. At the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, we saw Ned Leeds and everyone else forgetting Peter Parker. Now, everyone in the world, including Ned, knows about the existence of Spider-Man, but they don't know anything about Peter Parker. Ned doesn't have any memory of Peter being Spider-Man and his best friend. For Ned, Peter's a stranger now. With that ending, Marvel gave a reboot to Ned Leeds as a character in the MCU. Ned Leeds is currently in a very interesting situation inside the MCU. Possibilities for Ned are limited, but exciting. We also witnessed him open the portal with the sling ring in No Way Home, which made Ned believe in his link with the mystic arts and left Doctor Strange stunned. However, the chance of Ned turning in the direction of the mystic arts is pretty low currently, since no one, even Ned, remembers Peter Parker. And if Ned's character does go in the direction of the mystic arts, it would further separate his character from Peter and Spider-Man's story. However, on the other side, Jacob Batalon, the actor who plays Ned Leeds in the MCU, has been on a weight loss journey. And in his recent interview on The Jimmy Fallon Show, when asked about the possibility of Ned becoming Hobgoblin, Jacob neither denied it nor accepted it, which leaves room for assumptions that again leaves strong signals for Ned's character in the future as the Hobgoblin. Then also, there's the fact that although Tom Holland's Spider-Man did have an iconic tale with Norman Osborn's Green Goblin from another universe, the present Spider-Man doesn't have his own Goblin storyline, and Spider-Man's incomplete without it. Now, the twist of Ned becoming the Hobgoblin fits well, since it will fill the Goblin gap in the MCU, while also being an emotional ride for Peter and the audience to see Peter's best friend transform into the supervillain Hobgoblin. Now, if we look at the possibility of Ned becoming the Hobgoblin, then a new question arises, which is, how will Ned end up being the Hobgoblin? Well, there are many theories regarding this, but none of them appeal strongly, except for the one theory which has been formulated by fans. According to the theory, the reason for Ned going down the Hobgoblin road can be MJ. In the next Spider-Man trilogy, Peter will not allow himself to get involved with both Ned and MJ because he doesn't want to damage their lives in any manner again. Meanwhile, because Ned and MJ are best friends, Ned may develop romantic feelings for MJ. With all this going on, Ned may find he has some ties to mystic art and magic. There's also the possibility that Ned and MJ might regain their memories through the spell getting broken, or another magic spell resulting in Peter and MJ reuniting, but leaving Ned with just friendship with MJ. And because of the grief and envy, Ned may dig deep into his magic as well as the Goblin's remains to transform himself into a hero to get back MJ. But then, things may not go as planned, and Ned may lose his sanity and become the Hobgoblin. Now, there are many doubts about this theory, such as, well, how will the spell be broken? Or how can Ned go full villain mode towards his best friend simply because he can't get MJ? Or how will Ned discover his magical abilities? But there's also a gap to consider regarding Norman Osborn's Green Goblin, like how he got his Goblin suit upgraded for the final battle in No Way Home. If that part's focused enough, then this could be the place where Ned ends up going and building his Hobgoblin suit. Or maybe he'll discover the Goblin serum from there and he'll end up using it. The questions are too many, and we might get some clarity once we move towards the teasers of the next Spider-Man film.